So, Donald Trump, he must have had a bad night, had a bad glass of Merlot or something. I know the guy doesn't drink. Maybe he had bad escargot or something, but he has decided to, just out of the blue, add a 50% tariff on the EU. I mean, we do, I don't know, maybe $1 trillion annually worth of trade with the EU. And of course, like I said before, the EU is not going to cover these expenses. They're not going to cover these tariffs. It's going to get passed on to you, the consumer, because that's how it works. Even though Donald Trump screams and yells at Walmart saying, you guys should eat the cost. You think they're going to eat the cost, Don? I mean, that's not how capitalism works. And, we've been living in this capitalist society for quite a while. And when a company incurs cost, they do not eat the cost, man. That's going to eat away at the bonuses, man. They're not going to be able to, to get their bonuses tax free because of tips, right? We're going to have the no tax on tips thing, which, by the way, I'll get into that in a minute. But he also bleated on his Truth Social that they're going to add a 25% tariff on Apple. So it's not on. This is the thing that gets me. I mean, even if these tariffs were, legal in the way he's doing it, it's supposed to go through Congress or get congressional approval, but it doesn't really matter. Just Trump is doing what Trump wants to do because Congress is sycophantic to him and, they've bent over, they've greased up, and they're ready for penetration. So it doesn't matter what Donald Trump does. He's just going to fucking do it, and they're not going to say anything about it. But where was I? He's decided instead of doing these 25% tariff on all electronics, which, by the way, it was last month, if I'm not mistaken. Last month, he said that there was going to be an electronics exemption. So, Tim Cook from Apple, or as Donald Trump calls him, Tim Apple, he thought he was, he skated by on a fast one. But apparently something pissed off Donald Trump because now Donald is like, no. You got to put a 25% tariff on Apple alone because Tim Apple pissed me off. He's a bad guy, really bad guy. Used to be nice. He sat beside me right here in the Oval Office. Now he's a terrible guy. I don't, he came up to me in tears in his eyes. He said, Mr. President, you're a wonderful man. Look, Donald Trump does not give a fuck if you're going to have to pay $500 more on an iPhone. He does not care how much money this is going to cost you. He doesn't care. I mean, ultimately, this is me personally saying this, but I think that Donald Trump is expecting Tim Cook to come there and offer him some kind of deal because Donald Trump is strong-arming him mafia style. He thinks that Tim is going to show up at the White House and offer him a deal. That's very well possible. I mean, ultimately, what this is all this is about is Trump wants his cut. Anybody that comes there and kisses Donald Trump's ass and offers him a cut, he will probably drop the tariffs down, maybe down to 10% that, everybody else is getting. And of course, it's not about bringing jobs here. Even though in the bleat, he said, unless Apple starts manufacturing Apple products in America, he's going to add a 25% tariff. Before they were making them in China, and now in the last couple of months with all the tariffs, they've tried to move operations to India. They are not going to be making Apple products in America. Not that I wouldn't want them to. Of course I would want them to. And, the whole idea of Donald Trump's tariffs is to bring industry back, even though he has not done any industrial planning to make that happen or, given any kind of incentives for companies to bring these jobs back to America. The problem is, other than the infrastructure not being here, the cost of an Apple product made in America would be 3-4 times the cost of what they're building outside of America. I mean, they tend to forget, Republicans tend to forget that this whole idea of unfettered laissez-faire capitalism was done by them. And it immediately started, and Bill Clinton, let's not forget Bill Clinton, but it immediately started moving companies out of this country and employing them in other places like Mexico, like China, or other third world, areas like Sri Lanka or something like that. That was done because of the, laissez-faire, free market, free trade model. People can't come into America and cross the border to work, but money from corporations can cross the border back into America at any point. Anyway, that's a completely different topic, but I digress. Anyway, people are not going, the companies are not going to be moving these jobs to America, not only because we don't have, the industry available for them, the grid available for them to start doing that here, and the cost of everything would be considerably more. But Americans don't do these jobs anymore. Over the last 40 years, we've turned into a service economy. And this is the economy that conservatives and free market capitalists wanted. So we've got everything that they wanted. And now Donald Trump is just blowing it the fuck up. And it's not going to be people like him are going to be hurt. It's going to be you and me, because the cost of everything are going to rise. And by the way, this is just a little nitpicky thing from me, but I've noticed lately on Donald Trump's bleeding on Truth Social, these aren't even executive orders. These are just bleats on social media of him saying, if you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to be adding a tariff. And at the bottom of it, it says, thank you for your attention to this matter. He's turned into fucking like Office Space Karen. He's ending every one of his little missives with, thank you for your attention to this matter. God damn, it's just, ugh. If you really wanted to help Americans here in America, you would force companies like Walmart to actually pay their employees a fucking living wage, as opposed to when they get hired, they hand them a bunch of forms on how to get food stamps or how to, collect some kind of unemployment insurance due to the fact that Walmart will not pay you. Or they will employ you for 28 hours a week so you can't get full-time benefits. If Donald Trump actually wanted to help the American worker, he could help the American workers who are working right fucking now at the jobs that they have right now, as opposed to this pie in the sky thing about bringing industry home. And then as soon as he makes up his mind to do tariffs, he changes his mind to take tariffs off. And then everybody applauds him and says, art of the deal. No, bringing jobs here. No, art of the deal. No, bringing jobs home. No, art of the deal. He wants his fucking cut, and he wants it now. And if you don't give it to him, then you're going to have to pay the tariff. So I guess Tim Apple's going to be showing up at the White House sometime, with his checkbook in hand. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.